Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Today I wanted to come in with an intuitive message and also a little bit of sharing about me. I kept hearing this song, Do You Remember Me? I forget who it's by, but it goes, Do you remember me? Do you remember the way that I was? Do you remember me? That one. In the beginning she goes, I wrote you a letter. And I kept thinking, who's singing that to me? Who is like constantly in my ear being like, hello, do you remember me? And then I realized as I was taking a shower, because shower thoughts are the best thoughts, that it was the old version of me. The younger version of me who had a certain type of mindset that honestly was kind of chaotic and toxic. And in the song, she constantly says, do you remember me? Do you remember the way that I was? And for a while, I had been kind of avoiding that version of me because I'm like, it's not me anymore. It's not me anymore. And it's true, it's not me anymore, but I have to take into account that it was a part of me, and sometimes that part might still be around sometimes. And that it's okay to acknowledge when we have chaotic moments. It's okay to acknowledge when we weren't in a space where we thought we could handle everything because we had to grow up fast. And again, if you've been on my channel and my TikTok, then you would understand and know a little bit about my background and all the things that I've been through. And for me, I thought I was a strong, resilient, and just don't give a fuck, whatever's. And part of it was that, but a part of it also was me being naive into thinking that I didn't have to correct anything, that it was on people for treating me how I was being treated. And some of that's true, but also it's part of me letting myself being treated a certain type of way, whether it's being abused, manipulated, and sometimes people don't even know that they're doing these things. It's because they're also unhealed. But that's part of the journey, right? You understand and you look back, you're like, oh, okay. And you can give them a little bit more grace. But with that being said, it does not mean that it takes the full weight off of everything that has happened. And I wanted to share this message because I wanted other people to know that there might be a part of you that you might be rejecting right now. And it's okay to look back at them and say, hey, we were here in this place together, and I see you now. And I understand why you felt how and why you had to do what you had to do for yourself. But right now, in this space with us, you can just let go of all that pain and frustration and misunderstandings and know, yeah, it was a part of me once. And some of it still is, but it does not mean that it defines you as a person. It does not mean that your bad moments make you a bad person. And honestly, sometimes your good moments don't make you a good person, because sometimes people do good things in order to get things, and that's not the way to go about it. It's all about intention. What are your intentions behind the things that you do for others and yourself? What are the intentions for wanting to do the things that you do for yourself and other people? And yeah, I just really had to sit with that for a minute today, as I was cleaning, as I was taking a shower, as I was getting ready for the day, and ask myself, why is that song keep repeating? And it's because it's me from the past telling me now, hey, do you remember me? Do you remember the way that I was? And parts of me kind of honestly forget. Part of me kind of forgets I was chaotic and toxic in my own ways, you know? I might have not been outright to people doing certain things, but when I was blaming them for how I was acting, that was me being toxic. When I was saying, well, you're doing this, so I feel like this, and if you don't correct how I feel, then you're the problem. And it's like, well, no one can make you feel a certain type of way. It's all about how you handle it and what you take from that, and how you take those lessons and relearn how to correct yourself. This past year of 2024 has been the most enlightening and spiritual I have ever felt, and I could not be more grateful for the lessons I have learned. I could not be more grateful for the people I have met along the way. And some things make me sad because I realize, like, damn, like, I should have appreciated this chapter a little bit more. And maybe that's why it's hard to remember the past. Because then those regrets set in. Not to get all cry, but yeah, it just took me a minute to just sit back and remember that the time I spent with the people I was with was not all bad. The time I held people was not all bad. The time people held me was not all bad. And for a while, that was my fuel in telling myself that, well, if they're not going to change, then they're the problem. And part of it is they're not ready. They weren't ready, and they still might not be ready. And that is something I have to also accept on my journey, that I cannot continue to try to make people grow so they can come along into the car that I'm driving. It's like dragging dead bodies on your bumper, and it has nothing to do with them. Why we decide to make moves and change has everything to do with us. And yes, it can be hurtful when we have to leave behind people, places and things that we thought would be in this path with us. But the messages I have also been getting is that some people will find you along the way who are meant to find you. What is meant for you will come back to you. Those type of messages. And it's not to be like, sit around and see what happens type of thing. It's more of, continue what you're doing. Continue to prosper in your faith, your spirituality, yourself, your growth, and understand that this is a chapter that is closing. So remember the way that I was. And that the new me, the new us, the new we, still has love for all those people, but loving and valuing ourselves is so much more important to find our purpose in this life. And that it is grieving a loss of many, but you'll also be celebrating so much more when you find your peace, when you find yourself, and when you just let things be, because that's how you need to be. Just be. Not to get all cryy, but yeah, that's the message. Have a good day, and don't get scammed out here, guys.